Hey, so this week, as far as what all did I learn? Um, I learned a little bit, but it was more so. It was more of an eventful week. I know this past week I got to get a little bit of insight into UNC TV, and that was interesting. I got to see all the studios. I got to see the actual size of sets that you would see on the show, and how they're not really bigger than like 10 by 10s or occasionally 20 by 20, depending on the set. Also, I found out that a lot of the shows aren't made there, but more or less, recorded and then broadcast at a later time. That was interesting. Also, we got to um we got to meet with the guest speaker, Pam Salisbury. She was awesome, man. That's what all I can say on that. It was one of those things. She gave, great insight, sharing, her personal experience in the industry. Gave a little bit of information of what all, we had to deal with. Motivated us. She really motivated us to be, who we are. Don't try to change who we are. She explained that, she was shy but still able to make it in the industry. So that was pretty inspiring. Um, and then, on the research part of this past week, I learned about two people, well, not two people, but two things in depth, or more so in depth. The first one is a guy by the name of Bernard Cohen, who pretty much came up with agenda setting. And the reason why I want to bring him up is because, doing some research on him and more on the agenda setting theory, I just got a deeper understanding of it. Like beforehand, I just thought agenda setting was just one thing, but no, it's actually a two-part thing, or there's two different kinds of agenda setting, and I didn't know that until this week. As far as the whole, I mean, the first one is a misrepresentation of reality, and then the second one is just pushing some events ahead of others, making it appear as if it is more important. And I got to get a better grasp on that. And then I learned something new this past week: net neutrality and the concept of it, and how pretty much everybody should be able to view anything. It shouldn't be harder to find one thing than another, and that was interesting. But the more interesting part was that every time a bill was brought up trying to make net neutrality a law, the government, and I say the government broadly, but the government was pretty much no. So that was interesting. Definitely raised a couple questions in my head, but that essentially was was about it. There was I almost left out something. I got to learn about got to I learned more in depth about ideology and how that has been one of the most complicated things that we were on past this year, or given this year, because it applies in so many places, and then you got to be careful with how you use it. Um, so that was something that I learned more about in terms of how it's sort of an institution in a sense. How somebody could be ideological and how that could be a bad thing. Because at first I was like, how could that be bad? Until I looked it up and realized it's almost like saying one is closed-minded, or one's not seeing like the whole picture almost. That yeah, I see now. I understand now. The rest of this week I pretty much took to just go over and prepare for this test that we had. So it wasn't so much learning anything new as it was, reviewing, and trying to get down everything before the big test. But there you have it. That's that's pretty much what I learned this past week. Again, just like the other two videos, I hope you enjoy.